Happy Friday, America, and thanks again for joining us here on January 12th, 2024. We're 12 days into the new year. Are you getting it together or are you not getting it together? The choice is yours. You just got done rocking out to the Fricashinas. Fantastic band locally here in Denver, Colorado, always rocking your Happy Friday. Be sure to mash that subscribe button here on YouTube so you never miss an episode. My name is Kevin Batstone, and I will be running the ones and twos and doing a little MCing tonight. And of course, I couldn't do it without my good buddy, Arthur the Ranter Rawe.
Okay, I'm surprised you haven't used that one yet. I was wondering what you were writing over there. What's up, America? Happy to be here, feeling strong on this J1224. Let's go.
Let's go, Art. As we always do, we open it up with Today in History, and I just have to say that yesterday will go down as a day in history because the New England Patriots parted ways with Bill Belichick. That's a big deal to me as a Patriots fan, of course, Pats Nation, sports fans across the world. I don't think words can really, sum up what he did for New England, winning 6 titles, going down as one of the greatest to ever do it. It was a very sad day for me as a Patriots fan, and, January 11th, 2024 will go down in history, Art.
Yeah, I thought it was really endearing when I walked into the studio today to get ready to record this show, and you kind of had a little puddle in your eye, and you were serious about this. And look, I just think it's endearing is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm a huge sports fan, and that, fan is short for fanatic. So when Jeff Gordon retired, when Tom Brady left, when Bill Belichick's gone, all my childhood heroes are gone. And so it was a bit of an emotional day. So that will go down in history. But, of course, we also have some fun history.
So your first public museum that was established in North America, this was in Charlestown, South Carolina, 1773.
Wow.
Museums are so much fun. Recently went to the Denver Natural Science History Museum. Is that what it's called?
Natural Science and History Museum?
Yeah, it's epic. There's some really cool displays out there. A couple that they have that are temporary right now is the Ice Age display, and then also the Colors of Life. That Colors of Life one was so cool because you're walking through the exhibit. It's like going through Roy G. Biv. So I think that's so cool. 1773 was the first time one of these things was established out here. Moving forward a little bit to 1948, Gandhi begins his final fast. I was kind of curious when I was writing this one. I was like, why? Why is he doing that? So it was actually resort to hunger strike. He was resorting to a hunger strike as a method of resistance against the British government, who at that time had India as a colony.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. That was in 1948, huh?
1948, yeah.
On this day in history.
Yeah.
What do we got in 1950?
So 1950, I could not find any nuclear tests, unfortunately.
3 weeks in a row.
Unfortunately. Apparently they slow down during the holidays and coming into the new year on that sort of stuff.
Bummer.
But we do have USSR news in 1950 where they reintroduce the death penalty for treason, espionage, and sabotage. So I'm pretty sure that is... Actually, I know that's still in effect. I mean, we've heard that in news where current-day Russia has put people to death for that.
Yes, of course. And it looks like in 1995, the murder trial against O.J. Simpson begins. Quite a... that's just a historic case in general. I mean, the glove, the Ford Bronco, there's forever memes from that entire deal.
Yeah. Forever jokes. So, yeah, in L.A., 1995... I remember being on the bus and actually hearing all this OJ stuff.
Yep.
I remember being a kid hearing about this. So that's
a big deal.
One. And then we had to throw this one out here. Missy Elliott, one of the queens of hip hop. In 2019, she was the first female rapper to ever be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So that was a cool one to highlight. Missy Elliott, obviously one of the greats.
Missy Elliott's badass. I still listen to her music till this day. She just had a different vibe to her. So that's a pretty impressive accomplishment, which is now 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. That's today in history. And I thought this week was kind of juicy on January 12th.
Yes, January 12th. A lot of juice on there, of course. And a man that had some not so good juice on him was a Florida man. Florida man. Florida man can. So there was a Florida man that sued Dunkin' Donuts, one of my favorite establishments, of course, being a New Englander. We like to go down and get a cup of regular and a crawler, right? Yum. Dunkin', it's fantastic. It's an American icon. Well, apparently there was a place down in Winter Park, Florida, where he went in there to use their restroom. And this took place, Art, as you reminded me before we went on the air, in 2022, January 6th. So he's filed a lawsuit. He's gone through with the legal proceedings. Nothing's been decided yet, but he's suing because the toilet exploded in this Dunkin' Donuts and covered him in human waste. Covered him in human feces. Not a good situation. I talked about the Colfax crapper. This is much worse. Your thoughts?
I mean, look, to have to be covered in your own mess, which a successful Colfax crapper does not get covered in their own mess. But being covered in your own mess is one thing. Being covered in other people's messes, that's another thing. So I understand the level of grotesqueness to this situation.
It's rough.
And one of the main things is that it says in here that they knew that there was problems with the toilet, like the staff did. And it wasn't the first occurrence, but this was just the first person that came out about this and was like actually going to try to sue them. So like he's trying to sue them for like 50 grand. I don't know. I did a little research after reading the article. Couldn't find what happened. Like, I'm not too sure. But, I mean, how? Like,
Well, you got to pick a number, right?
Well, like, what? But like, no. But what's going on with this toilet? Like, I've never seen a toilet shoot stuff out of it like that.
No, I've never seen that either. It was probably something much greater. There was probably a situation down, the plumbing maybe going away from the building, something backed up and it ended up shooting back in. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that these things can back up. We see it happen in like lower levels of households where like shit will come up through the bathtubs.
I didn't see any pictures, but like, covered, what does that mean? Like, was it on your head to your toes, like covered, or like it was just over your torso? So I'm not too sure about that.
Probably assume the worst here.
But what kind of long-term injuries could you get from...
It depends. Like if it truly exploded and there was like porcelain of the toilet flying around, like whapped in the face. Shrapnel from the porcelain. I mean, there's a lot of components.
You could have caught an STD or something.
If
that was the case, you get cut by the porcelain.
Yep.
It has like people's waste on it, which carries their stuff, and then it cuts you.
Yeah, is it E. coli bacteria? I think that's what's in human waste.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, that's no good.
Either way, I mean, it's a pretty grotesque story.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dunkin is being sued, and honestly, I think that this guy will probably win. Unless somehow, Dunkin's going to put an attorneys together, of course.
What's 50 grand a Dunkin?
Right, exactly. But
I mean, the bathroom remodel is going to cost like the same amount. Like,
right,
just get it done.
Yeah, just pay the guy off. But I'm sure they're going to put up some sort of defense, like, oh, it was out of our control here at Dunkin' Donuts. But when you run an establishment, you are responsible. There's a lot of establishments you walk into that say no public restroom.
Yeah.
Right. This is a public restroom that you're offering to the patrons.
Yeah. So I would like to think, because you know how some of these like restaurant restrooms and like things in the airport, like you go flush these toilets, they're like
oh yeah, those are epic.
Like, so maybe I'm just gonna imagine it was one of those type of toilets, and for some reason, like that jet stream engine was like just turned up more than normal, and I would like to imagine this person, they're sitting there. They're finished with their business, and then they go to hit it, and it's like, and like whirlwinds all over. That's how I'd like to think it happened. I'm not too sure that's how it happened though.
There's a lot of speculation on how it happened, but we know it did happen, and unfortunately, this man was covered in debris and human waste.
Hey, well, one thing that will get me moving to a restroom is coffee in the morning, right?
Coffee will do that.
It helps. And there's so many great local coffee shops all around the United States. And there's one in Indianapolis in particular that is standing out because of a pop-up wedding that all of a sudden happens at this coffee shop. And unbeknownst to the coffee shop owner as well. So they had no idea. So this is how the story goes. They open up their coffee shop. It's like a normal morning. They're having a good time. It's a little more crowded than normal. And the people, the crowd, they're nicely dressed. And they're like, it looks like these people could be going to a wedding. And then, lo and behold, in the back corner of this coffee shop, which is not that much space, there's actually like a pastor back there. And all of a sudden, like, they're leaning over the coffee maker, and they're actually saying, these people are actually getting married. And then the door opens, and the bride walks through the coffee shop like it's the aisle. She's getting walked down the aisle through the coffee shop. They moved furniture around on their own accord.
Yeah.
They did all this. The coffee shop never gave them approval. They're blocking the entrance to actual customers and people actually trying to get coffee. And then when this whole thing gets out, the newlywed couple tries to make it right by offering a $200 donation, and the coffee shop's like, no, like this sort of thing would have cost you $500, and that's what it is. So I don't know if they've paid that off yet, but the coffee shop is trying to get the total $500. And one question that they were asked often is, why didn't you just kick them out? You know?
Well, when you have that big of a group, I'm assuming, most of these coffee shops that we go into and the baristas that are working there are generally pretty young. So there's a good chance that the owner of the facility maybe wasn't there. There was a manager on duty, but who's kidding who?
No, the owner was there.
The owner was there.
The owner was there, and she decided to not remove this wedding party because she assumed that people would get footage of her kicking out this wedding party.
Isn't that crazy?
And then negatively do that, like just take the snippets of the negative parts, like not this whole story.
Yeah.
So they just played their cards close, they held it close, and then they went to the news.
It's still
Channel 13.
It's kind of crazy that she even thought of that, the owner. Like, that went through the mind, like, well, if I kick him out, this might go viral, and this could negatively affect the business, so let's just let it play out, and hopefully they pay us in the long run. But, as long as they didn't do any damage to the facility and they put everything back and they pay their dues, I don't have any problems with it. But I want to know is, why would you do this in the first place? Do you think that, like, this couple had their first date at this coffee shop and that's why they decided to get married there? Like, what would be the reasoning behind it?
Maybe they just love that fresh ground. Maybe they're like me and they use one of their friends' coffee grinders that they let them borrow and they release the flavor in the morning. And that's just how they want to get married.
I wonder where you got that coffee grinder from.
I don't know, but it is sturdy. This thing is running well almost on the daily.
That thing does run pretty well. Well, that's an interesting story.
That's kind of fun one. Thanks, Kyle.
Not something I would want to be involved with, but hey, that's great, and congratulations on the new marriage. Moving on to Kev's Random Records, one of my favorite weekly segments that I like to do here.
Yes,
picking
this
through.
one is good.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So this week we have nose whistling. That's right, nose whistling. So I would encourage everybody to scroll down to the show notes, click this link so you can see this individual demonstrate. Well, not even demonstrate, perform the nose whistling, because a lot of times you can't
I had
tell.
to click on it.
Yeah.
I was like, how does one do that?
Do a nose whistle?
And I still don't know how she did it.
I don't know either. I've had a nose whistle where you have
it's like Deborah's back there.
Yeah, you got some things in there and it causes a whistle. Right? But see,
I've had that happen.
She took it to another level. Lulu Lotus, 44.1 decibels, Art, on the nose whistle, which sets the new record. Now, that's a pretty good amount of noise right there coming out of your nose. Nose noise.
Noise.
That's a lot of nose noise.
That is a lot of nose noise. I was not expecting to. I was expecting to see more strain on this person's face while they're doing this, but yeah, not even like a little. But just during the thing, they're it looks like they're just sitting there seriously.
Yeah.
And one of the giveaways was there's a dog in one of the videos, and the dog was obviously hearing this. I don't know how to nose whistle on command. I think it's an interesting record. I don't know when it would be useful. Can a nose whistle compete with the mouth whistle? I don't think so. Like, what is the loudest mouth whistle now? I want to know.
Well, some people can do that.
Well, yeah, and
where it's like really loud.
That has to get over 100.
I bet it's close.
Do you think that gets over 100?
I've heard some whistles that will like silence an entire room of people.
Yeah.
which is incredible. But I mean, it's kind of the nose whistler, right? So apparently the 5-year-old son of the nose whistler, this Lulu Lotus, I believe is her name, is following in her footsteps, and she is basically, I don't know if you want to call it training or encouraging nose whistling, and the 5-year-old is going to also follow in the footsteps and try to beat her record one day. Those were her words, is that she wants her son to beat her record.
Okay, well, I give them all encouragement, and let's try to get to the loudest whistle with no hands coming out of the mouth. I think this is saying 117 decibels.
That's pretty loud.
So that's pretty loud coming out of the mouth, but still 44
out of the nose.
That's not too far under half. That's like 45% of that, which is still pretty loud.
I wouldn't have guessed 117 out of the mouth, though. I mean, you think a gunshot, is 140 to 160 depending on the weapon. That's pretty loud.
Yeah,
that's pretty loud.
Yeah, he was in Italy. This guy, Calogero Gambino.
Yeah, that guy.
Something like that. He was a loud whistler.
Yep.
The loudest cat caller alive. Yeah, but
Yeah, congrats to Lulu Lotus for holding the record now.
Nose noise.
As the loudest nose noise contributor at 44.1 decibels using your nose. And I hope you can beat your record, and your son maybe will follow in your footsteps one day. Who knows?
That's a lot of fun.
And that's the random records for this week. And now we're going to move on to another weekly segment, The Would You Rather.
Let's go, baby, for the Would You Rathers. But, of course, we got that recap from last week.
That is correct. That is correct. So for all of our Twitter X, followers, what have you, if you're not following us over there, be sure to do that. That's at Happy Fry USA. So you can participate in these weekly polls that go up every Friday. You can see promo clips and all the other fun things that we do over there. So last week it was, would you rather be a beaver or a coyote?
Yes.
And so 20% came in on the beaver, 80% on the coyote. I went with the coyote.
You went with coyote? I was beaver.
Correct.
So everybody wanted to be out. We got a bunch of scavengers out here in Happy Friday America land. What's going on?
It's the Predators, baby.
Yeah. Hey, I can't blame you for that.
What do we got this week, Art?
I can't blame you for that. And thank you, everybody, for participating. It's a lot of fun for us to see those results.
It is. Gets everyone involved.
Yeah. I have fun with it. I'm like, what did the people... Because I don't ask. I don't look at it. Kevin has his eyes on X. So I'm all like, what's it going to be? I don't know until the show happens.
I have eyes on X, yes.
Yeah, you do have eyes on X. So would you rather for this week is kind of a grosser one. You know, we're kind of in that grotesque mood right now. So would you rather wear...
It's a tough one.
...the same socks for 3 weeks or the same underwear for 3 weeks?
Well...
Same socks or same underwear, you got to wear them for 3 weeks. What's it going to be?
You know... It's a tough one because there's as we always do, we always go with the what if scenarios.
There's contributing factors to this.
There is. I mean, did you soil yourself? Did you step in mud? You know, is there other underlying what kind of shoes you're wearing?
Your normal week. It's like a normal week.
I'm going to take the socks.
You're going to wear your socks?
Yeah, I don't want to, but I'm going to take it in the would you rather because 3 weeks in the same underwear, you know, you got a lot going on in there. There's bodily fluids, there's feces potentially happening. You got, you know, in and out of showers, you're putting old underwear back on. Mm-hmm. I'm not too sure about keeping the underwear for 3 weeks.
Really, I'm gonna. This one's a split too, so it's gonna be up to the viewers here as well on this one, because I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna change my socks out. I want to change my socks out.
Believe me, I want to.
So I would rather, because I usually shower daily, right?
Yep.
So I feel like I could continue the good smelling underwear longer than the socks because I usually walk frequently.
Yeah, you do a lot more walking. See, my feet don't stink though.
And I'm swapping out shoes, and
I don't do that.
Some of my shoes like are walking shoes. Like they can get a little funky. And like some of my shoes are hella funky fresh, and I'm not trying to put stanky ass socks into those funky fresh shoes.
No, I mean, I understand that. It's the same reason, and I'm sure a lot of our female audience would agree that 3 weeks in the same underwear is rough, especially when you're dealing with, you know, menstrual cycles and things of that nature. There's things that can happen down there.
I'm going to say the majority of females are going to...
They're going to go with me on this.
Yeah, they're going to want to cycle their underwear.
Absolutely.
For me particularly... I feel like I'm going to keep all that region fairly clean, even with wet wipes and stuff. You could do
a lot
to make sure that you're not getting it all. I mean, I do this regardless, even when I'm changing underwear. But yeah, I'm swapping the socks out. I'm wearing the same undies for 3 weeks.
I'm going to go with the socks for 3 weeks. My cowboy boots, they never stink. My socks are never rotten, rancid, anything like that. That's why I said, like, if I stepped in mud or my foot got wet, then it starts to go off the rails.
Yeah, normal week.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you going 3 weeks with socks or 3 weeks with underwear? It's kind of an interesting would you rather. And also participate in the poll on Twitter, X. That's part of our weekly segment. So, game over, Art.
Game over.
Game over. Everyone knows about Tetris. That's right, Tetris.
Old school Tetris.
Taking it back old school to the 80s. One of the first games that really... was difficult. I mean, when you think about the evolution of video games, it started to become where you needed more strategy, more buttons were being utilized. Well, guess what? A teenager became the first to ever beat it. A teenager from Oklahoma. He was doing a live stream when it happened, too, because kids like to live stream when they're playing video games. That's just a thing that happens now. He literally broke Tetris. I mean, he reaches a level 157, which I don't even think I've ever even come close to triple digits in Tetris. I think the max score you can get is 99,999 because I believe that's it.
The threshold.
That's it. That's all you can get. And he did it in 32 minutes.
Really? And then so the first person, that's crazy because this game 84 is when it came out. Is that what that says?
Yep.
So that much basically
38 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. But,
38
minutes.
But
basically, how many years is that? That's
since 84. That's 40 years.
That's 40 years. Man, so this thing has never been beat in 40 years.
That's unreal.
This guy comes out. So what did the game like crash? It like shut down or like what happened?
Yeah, it didn't know what to do because I think the developers in '84 weren't thinking anyone would ever get up that high.
Yeah,
because it took 40 years.
That's
no one.
true.
I mean, as far as we know, maybe there's someone that did and it was just never live streamed, so
yeah.
there wasn't proof.
Yeah,
You know,
I
actually have
bet.
proof.
I bet
Someone's probably done it.
somebody else has probably done it, but it wasn't proof. But that also shows you kind of, how having an audience can inspire people to get stuff done that they normally won't do. He was live streaming it. He wanted to hit that level. He did it. Everybody got to see it. It's pretty epic.
It's pretty epic for sure. So, congrats.
So this just reminded me of one article where this guy, he was at work and he wasn't going to leave his job. They have a golf simulator there. He wasn't going to leave his job until he got a hole-in-one, and he started to live stream this. He was at his job for like 72 hours trying to like get a hole-in-one, and he finally got it, and like the internet freaked out.
They're like, whoa.
Yeah, and he's like, and he was like a very unimpressive, out of shape person. Like that was just like, and now he's viral. We don't have that article in here, but that just kind of reminded me of it.
Yeah, that's cool. So shout out to Willie Gibson of Oklahoma on that live stream. And again, you folks can go down to the link in the show notes and watch him do it. It's pretty impressive because even he doesn't know what to do. He's like, what happened?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? It reminds me of that scene in Grandma's Boy. I don't know if you've ever seen Grandma's Boy, but when Nick Swardston gets the Dance Dance Revolution in there and they have like the Game Wars, and he'll like breaks the record and it's like all-time high score. He's like, new high score, is that bad? What does that mean?
What does that mean? Is that good? Is that good? No, that's hilarious, man. So I think that's cool, but yeah, I was not expecting to hear new news about Tetris coming in here 2024, so that's pretty surprising.
That's pretty wild. 2024 is coming in with a wave for sure, and we got some waves out in California.
Absolutely, man, and they are glowing blue with bioluminescence. So there's this type of plankton that when friction happens, their defense mechanism is too light, and it's like this bioluminescent blue. I'm sure you've seen videos all over the internet. They pop up all over the world. But right now they are appearing in Orange County, California beaches. So if you are in that area, I would highly suggest doing a little night walk on the beach, by yourself, with your dog, with your significant other, maybe a best friend or family member. That would be an awesome little thing. Go get like some, coffee or some hot chocolate. But I actually have an experience with this bioluminescent plankton myself. And it was when I was in Jamaica. There was a lagoon out there that we traveled to at night. And they took us out on these ferries. And there was no sharks in the lagoon and all this other stuff. So they it's safe to dive in. You're good to dive in it. And so they pull us out there behind the boat. You can see all the blue water. All the wake is blue from this. And then they took us out there. They stopped. They're like, okay, everyone can hop in. And I was kind of looking around. I was like, all right, I got to jump in. So I took the shirt off. I was hefty big boy back then, and I made a huge splash. And I'll always remember this part because I closed my eyes as I'm going under, and it was just whoosh, blue. It was like this bright blue.
That's crazy.
So cool, splashing around. So talking about just enjoying the little moments in life and having great experiences and kind of just kicking back and enjoying nature, I would go check this out. If I was in Orange County, I would make a point to go look at these waves crashing. Do
you still have pictures of the
I do.
From that event?
I do.
Let's throw one up right over your right shoulder there.
So, right over my right shoulder?
Yeah, so the folks can see that bioluminescent plankton and what it does to the water, which is pretty cool. So you can get a live look at what that looks like.
Cool. We'll throw a couple pictures in there.
Yeah, let's throw a few in there. That's pretty cool, man. Look, the ocean's incredible, and the things that happen in there. I love the aquariums and all that stuff. Like sea life is really cool to me. I can't say I've ever seen that. I've seen other things like the gooey ducks that glow on the sea when people are like doing hunting for them.
No, gooey ducks look like dildos, basically.
Yeah, they do look like dildos.
Yeah.
But they usually people will go out and hunt them like in the sand.
They glow?
I believe they have like a certain, I don't know if they glow per se, but there's a certain time of year and a certain tide, and it's like there's opportunities where folks will go out with buckets to hunt these things.
The gooey ducks.
Yeah, I've never personally seen a gooey duck. I've seen them in videos.
Yeah.
Usually the Asian culture likes to bite into them and they look like they're doing ejaculation. Interesting creatures, but the fact remains, if I was in California, I'd be out there every night taking a look at this.
Yeah.
Right. And of course the jellyfish. The jellyfish that wash up on shore. You got to watch out for those.
Yeah, getting stung by that.
And it's been proven that urine does alleviate the sting.
Yeah, I've heard that too. So please pee on me after I get stung.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting. Maybe you pee on yourself. That's gonna be easier for a guy to do. Other you got a splashback, but it's kind of interesting too because in nature, flamingos they get all their color from eating like crabs and stuff and like the plankton. So they turn pink from this plankton.
Yeah,
and then
pink
like
plankton.
There's like these really red birds on an island that only ate crabs and they were super red from eating crabs. So, pretty interesting how all that works out.
It is. The sea life is fantastic, and I like the bioluminescent plankton. That's tremendous.
Oh, my gosh.
Always good to look at. So another thing that people look at is beer goggles. We've all heard the term.
Look through.
Yeah, look through. And, of course, for folks that don't drink, they've heard about beer goggles. And they go, well, what is that exactly? So, I'm a beer drinker. I can't really say personally I've ever had beer goggles, and especially after reading this scientific document here in this research that was conducted, beer goggles isn't as what we thought it was.
Okay.
So there was a study conducted on 99 men, and what they had them do, they had women
and women. I thought they did both.
Well, so they had women aged 18 to 62 that participated to see.
They questioned 99 men and women.
Right, age 18 to 60.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And so they would ask them a series of questions as to did they get more and more attractive as the drinks went on.
Okay.
Some of them, though, were just shown photographs. They weren't actually live action.
Okay.
So they would be like, is the kind of hot or not, like The Office did. Is this person hot? Are they not? And then they would ask them again 6 drinks later, and they collected all this data, right, of asking these individuals as their level of intoxication grew. And what they found out is that overwhelmingly no. Their answer remained consistent. Either they did or did not find that person attractive, and they found out that alcohol did not really change that.
Yeah.
But what they did find is the sexual energy does change when drinking.
Okay.
Right. So libido and ambitions, of course, if people get a little bit more flirty, those kind of things can influence beer goggles.
Okay.
That's what we're learning. But we're not seeing a direct correlation between drinking and finding somebody more attractive.
Okay.
Like if you think they're a 3 sober, we're not really seeing the beer making them look like a 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Just by visual aesthetics, right? So I found this to be an interesting read. Again, it'll be down in the show notes if you want to read the entire article. But it's not really something that's been looked into too much as far as the whole beer goggles are concerned. There's been a lot of studies on alcohol, and we've seen that it lowers inhibitions and sex drive goes up and things like that. But we're learning that beer doesn't necessarily make someone more attractive in the eye of the beer holder.
That does make sense. That was a good pun. That was punny. So I think this could be really successfully studied if it was like kind of one of those, you're not letting these people know that you're doing this study sort of thing. So because they were probably looking, hey, this is what we're doing, they had a level of understanding.
That's true.
Right? And so if it would be like one of those case studies where you just happen to be in a bar and you're like just making friends with people and like maybe you 5 people out of the night, but then you can't get these kind of like 100 people numbers like the 99.
Right.
Like you could only ask a couple people like, hey.
You kind of need a broader
and then you
study.
got to hope that they're going to keep drinking if you're not.
Yeah.
So it did mention that it's as you drink, as alcohol takes its hold, that seeing the asymmetrical differences, that decreases.
That does.
But I would think that alcohol would either accentuate your already attractive level to somebody or make you feel even less attracted to somebody that you're already not attracted to.
Yeah.
Like I feel like alcohol would just accentuate both of those on either end.
Yeah, I think, again, more of what it is like it lowers inhibitions and people just, like, the fuck meters go out the window, so to speak. Like, I'll,
fuck it, I'll have another shot.
Or fuck it, I'll, hook up with this individual that I'm not really attracted to, but we're at the same hotel and we're both drunk, so who fucking cares?
Yeah.
And then you have that awkward blueberry muffin in the morning.
Oh, I like a poppy seed, but blueberry is definitely a classic.
I'm just thinking hotel food. What's down there? It's usually blueberry muffins.
So, dude, all these eggs that are in hotels, all the scrambled eggs that you get, they're all coming from big old bags.
And they're egg beaters.
They're big bagged egg beater eggs, and they taste like plastic. That's disgusting. I only want my scrambled eggs fresh from cracked shell. Okay.
I would agree with that. Yeah, hotel eggs are no good, but they're egg beaters because they're easy to transport and they're easy to mass produce.
Yeah, at the hotel, when I'm getting the continental breakfast, whatever the fuck that is, I'm actually just getting a bagel and cream cheese and maybe some of the fresh fruit that they got.
I like the orange juice.
Or the bacon. They got the bacon out.
The bacon's good.
Get a slice of bacon or two.
Bacon's good. Maybe a bowl of cereal, with the little fun box.
Yeah, those are fun.
Those are kind of fun.
Those are fun.
You can't do OJ and cereal, though. That doesn't work.
I mean, you could, but it's how you started this. Let me get a regular and a crawler, dude.
Dunkin.
Just like having a donut for breakfast. Like, who's actually eating donuts for breakfast nowadays?
Do it.
Like, what kind of diet is that? Just like eating
it's a sugar rush.
Sugary cereal for breakfast is like in the same category. At least you have milk with the cereal, I guess.
Yeah, and depending on the cereal, you could do Raisin Bran and things of that nature. But we're getting misguided now. This isn't DCPC. This is Happy Friday. And so beer goggles have been debunked according to this study. What's your thoughts on beer goggles? We've all made bad decisions after a night of drinking. What was it because of beer goggles or was it because you're a dumbass? Let us know below.
Yeah, maybe you're just letting your real inhibitions free.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. So, well, what do we got going on this weekend? Art, we got Paul Oakenfold, and he is out in Costa Mesa, California. We were actually rocking out to him before we went on the air. Old school stuff. So,
classic.
The EDM is, I don't want to say it's because of Paul Oakenfold, but it's because of people like him who got into
inspired
correct.
by him.
Yeah,
for sure.
He kind of laid the paved the road for EDM to be what it is.
I would agree. He was in that early techno electronic music type of phase. Moving to Philadelphia, to the east side of this country, this beautiful United States of America, we got the Philadelphia Auto Show. Man, that's going to be fun. That's on the 13th through the 21st, so you do have plenty of time to go check that out in Philly. Anytime I've ever been to an auto show, I mean, I'm a car guy. Like, how could you not like the way cars look and appreciate the classics and stuff? Go check it out. I guarantee you, even if you're not into cars, you're gonna be like, oh, at least that you're gonna think one's cool at least.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the Denver Auto Show. That's going to be that same show. Comes here in April. Looking forward to that.
That's going to be cool.
St. Petersburg, Florida, down there in Florida, man. St. Pete Bacon and Barbecue Festival. Now, if that doesn't have America written all around it, it does. Bacon and Barbecue Festival down in St. Pete. Down there, beautiful weather, delicious food. Man, if I was down there, I'd be going.
Yeah, I would definitely be going too. And what's your favorite thing on the whole barbecue list? It could be a meat, it could be a side. You could choose one meat and one side. What is it? Barbecue.
Brisket and coleslaw.
Brisket and coleslaw. Damn, you said that pretty quick. I'm gonna have to say ribs, beef or pork. Do I have to specify?
Nope.
And then mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah, mashed potatoes are definitely up there.
I love the mashed potatoes, man.
They're up there.
But you gotta get the gravy with it. The gravy comes with that, right? Ooh,
absolutely delicious.
That's gonna be good. And then moving right along, a big salsa festival in San Diego. Oh man, if I was there, I would be there. If I was in San Diego, I'd be there. Ra-cha-cha.
So it's a Latin festival. They have dancing, they have the cuisines, they have just the whole, the Latin culture. It's a salsa festival. I don't know how to salsa dance, but I would take a class. I'd get a little.
So apparently you're not supposed to lift your feet or move your feet much, which was really difficult for me. It's mainly in the hips. It's in the hips.
Yeah, I've seen salsa dancing, and it's obviously you can relate it to sex. It's kind of sexual dancing. Or it could just be...
Isn't most dancing?
Yeah, most dancing is. But salsa is very...
How about heavy metal dancing?
That's not really sexual. I mean, unless you're into that type of shit. I guess it could be. But either way, San Diego, that's back-to-back weeks of cool things.
Oh, my gosh.
Last week, they had the San Diego Brew Fest going on that John Ekstrom would have loved. This week, John X can go do some salsa dancing. We love you, John.
Yeah, check it out. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know where we're at based on the Would You Rather and the polls. That's Happy Fry USA on Twitter and X. To check us out, Happy Friday USA on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you want to shoot us an email, any fun ideas or something, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. Kevin, you're one of my best friends. Also one of the best hosts that I've ever met. Also, one of the best voices that I've ever listened to. So creamy, silky, smooth. I'm so happy that I get to do this with you weekly. Thank you for tuning in, America. What's up, fricashinas?